Hey, my friends, how you doing? Well, jumping into some Liliac here, guys. Sorry I haven't been doing much. I have been super busy doing a whole interior paint job in our house, and it's pretty much just me. My wife has health issues, and it really gives her like immense pain to try to do that. So I've been super busy just trying to do it so she doesn't have to do it. Anyway, super cool cameo from Liliac for a channel intro. I really appreciate it, Papa L. Uh, and all the rest of you, thank you so much for doing that. It's so cool. Rocking the Liliac hat, I finally got to be able to get. My wife stole it last night, but I took it back, right? That's my hat. But we'll share it, you know what I mean? It's nice and warm too. So if you guys need a good winter hat, grab one from the Liliac website. So we're going to see what's on Papa Liliac's mind here. Is Liliac famous? He entitles this video. And I know most reactors aren't going to bother to do this because I find most reactors don't care about the music so much as views. And Liliac does allow us to share revenue on a lot of their stuff, which is really super cool because they don't have to do that. They could literally copyright everything, but they don't do that. So it really saddens me when people take advantage of that. I want to know what's going on, not just with the band, but like with Papa Liliac, see what's going on with him. So let's jump into this. It's going to be long, maybe a lot of stops, guys, probably a 25-minute video. So at the end, I'm going to put in a code word to see who followed along till the end. All right, let's go.
Hello, Liliac thanks. Papa Liliac here. Once again, it seems like I have to do this kind of I don't know if I want to call it podcast or not, but it's what's on my heart, and I'm gonna say out there, and this is the best way, just to post it on Facebook. I mean on YouTube, and let you guys take in from it,
Opposites,
and
black and
even you
white,
could
baby.
leave your comments. The reason I'm trying to do this vlog, and I don't want to be bringing to be a negative thing. I want it to be positive, but it's some things that I have to say what's on my chest because some people are really spreading the wrong information and spreading rumors that shouldn't be spread. So I know the truth more than anybody because I'm Papa Liliac and my kids are the band that you guys are
I
following and
love that.
loving. So
I'm
with that
Papa
said,
Liliac.
what I want to say is that does Liliac want to be famous? That's the big question. That's the big question. And you'll be saying, well, of course, anybody wants to be famous. There's a difference between being successful or being famous. And when you see these people writing, well, if Liliac wants to be like famous like Miley Cyrus or Taylor Swift and this and that, they need to fire their manager, fire their dad, and get a real manager, get a real production company, sign with the record labels, get songwriters to write their
Wow.
songs. Well, first of all, does the band want that? Did you ever ask that questions? What does the band want? It's not what you want. You want, I get it, you're a fan. Probably you want to see Liliac to be successful. But that's a good thing, seeing them successful, meaning more bigger shows, reaching out more people. But you don't necessarily have to be famous to be on all the tabloids as Miley Cyrus is or Taylor Swift in order to be successful. You could be successful at your own terms, meaning you don't need to sell your
Wow.
soul to the devil to be successful. Now, famous, I don't know about that. I think, and I heard of people, they sold their soul to the devil in order to reach that big of fame. There's people that don't like, and, they like their privacy. They like their way of being. And I talked again and again, and it's weird because people even contradict me if I reply to them, and that's why it's no use to reply to anybody. It's like I'm talking to the wall. First of all, you don't know what Melody feels, my daughter, the singer. And when you say, well, when I mentioned, and I was like, Melody does not want the Hollywood fame, period. And you don't know what you're talking about. And you were saying, well, she should ditch her family band and get a real band and be famous and show Miley Cyrus who can sing. And look, we love and we respect every artist out there because they're not successful or even famous for nothing, meaning they have talent. Miley Cyrus has a great voice for what she's doing. Taylor Swift has a talent for what she's doing.
Alrighty, so I gotta stop here. Um, wow. I really feel for you, Papa L. You know, it seems like it's impossible to please everybody. You know, as much as we want to, uh, it's like that on this channel. You know, I don't get views that a lot of people do. You know, it's the video's too big. You're too small. The volume's not high enough. The volume's not low enough. People talk about why I don't really delve into the meaning of a song. And the reason that I don't, and I'm addressing this to you, Papa L, is, you know, as you know, 10 people could hear that song and get 10 different interpretations. We all interpret things differently. A song that's supposed to be very sad can be very uplifting to somebody, or, you know, something like that. I don't believe for 1 second that Liliac should get rid of their manager or their dad, or Melody should go off on her own. I just don't see that ever happening. First and foremost, Liliac is a family. You know what I mean? I mean, so they're not going to cut through each other to get this big fame. And who would ever want to be like Miley Cyrus or Taylor Swift? All right, so Miley Cyrus, for instance, was a big role model. Hannah Montana. And now she got so big only because of her father. That's the only reason. Otherwise, she would have never even been known. You know, I don't really see her as uber talented. I respect her, you know, for what she does. She's an entertainer. That's about as far as it goes. I particularly don't care for her voice. Taylor Swift, I really was a big fan. I have a whole lot of covers on here of Taylor Swift, but I think Taylor Swift's just too big for her britches. You know, now you can't even upload or see like guitar tablature or chords like on Ultimate Guitar because she forbids it. She forbids her music to be streamed on Spotify because she doesn't get enough royalties. I mean, so what is the definition of success? Are they successful? I mean, I wouldn't want any of my, you know, like my son or, you know, any of my nieces or anything to follow along with, you know, Miley Cyrus. I think she's a very poor role model. And I'm not a really big fan of Taylor Swift anymore. I like her music, don't get me wrong. I just don't like the way she's turned out to be, where, like, we can't even post, you know, songs and stuff. So I totally hear what you're saying, Papa L. It's really not cool. People don't know. Um, you know, and when you're talking about this stuff, I think of the record companies, and you know what I think of, Papa L? I think, yeah, you know what the record companies are going to do? They're going to try to, you know, get them into this more popish groove and have, you know, Melody and Abby, you know, half naked on the stage. And that is not going to happen ever. It's just never going to happen. You know, and that's the big thing here. So it's a big, huge, giant respect thing. And I respect this band to just no end. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what the band wants. But I think about that sometimes, you know, when I'm listening to some Liliac or something. Do I want them to be bigger? Yeah, I want them to be, you know, even more successful so that they can do that and live comfortable lives, you know what I mean? But I just can't see, you know, they're not going to, as Papa's saying here, they're not going to sell their souls to get there. If they're going to get there, it's going to be on their terms. So I love that about Liliac. It's on their terms. But anyway, we got a long way to go. So I told you it's going to be a long video, but I gotta do this because I want to know what's on Papa's mind. So
And we respect that, and everybody should respect each other. We're all in it here to entertain people. Liliac is here to entertain like everybody else is. But Taylor Swift is at a different level of success or fame. I mean, and Miley Cyrus and Liliac, we're not even close. Liliac is still on the rise. And do you see Liliac famous? I know some fans be like, man, Liliac should be to stadium right now. They're famous. Maybe in your eyes, it looks like Liliac is super famous. And we did. We did meet fans when we go on tour at gas stations. They're like, oh my gosh, Liliac. And for them, or in
That's
restaurants,
awesome.
is like for them seeing Liliac's music and they're fascinated by the band's music, Melody's voice, Sam's guitars, Ethan's bass, and so and so. They love Liliac, and for them, Liliac probably is the most famous. He means more than Taylor Swift or Miley Cyrus. But of
Certainly to
course,
me.
in the real world, when you look at the numbers, yes, Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift is super famous. You know what I mean? But now you wanting Liliac to be like that, it doesn't mean it's gonna happen, or it doesn't mean the band wants that. I even talked to them about record labels. Actually, today we have a band meeting every week, and I said, because a lot of people pin me down, and oh, Papa Liliac is just holding on to the band. He doesn't want anybody. He needs to step aside. Look,
Baloney.
the thing is, I even told the kids, if there is a better manager than me and more connected that could help Liliac to go to the next level, but not only that, that's not it. That's first of all, he has to be better than me at what we're doing. Second of all,
Good luck with
if
that.
he's willing and if he's in love with the band and passionate about Liliac, of course I'll step aside and let that guy take over because I know he's gonna take Liliac where I cannot take it. But so far, I know bands that got a manager and hardly talks to the band maybe once a week and just like blah, blah, and doesn't do absolutely anything. And he's a manager, he's connected. He's not working 24/7 for the band. And I did have a meeting with Godsmack manager, and he was responsible for Smashing Pumpkins being their manager. And I did when I was in LA, and I asked him. I said, "What?" He said, "Look, Papa Liliac, like I really respect and appreciate what you're doing with the band." He said, "Signing with the label, it doesn't mean absolutely anything unless Liliac would have a hero in the label, like an A&R who signs them has to be a hero." I said, "What are you talking about? What hero? We're not, what hero?" And he said, "Let me explain, Papa Liliac, what does that mean?" He said, "Whoever signs the band has to be a hero, meaning he has to be like you." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Look at you, man. You devote every ounce of your body to help this band be successful. You took them to all those lessons. You took them to all those rehearsals. You took them on the pier for 8 years every weekend. You could have been there with your buddies drinking and watching, football or basketball, but you were there on the pier all day long, every Friday and Saturday, every Saturday and Sunday." He said, "If you got a hero that will sign Liliac and will get a good deal, then yes, Liliac will be successful. But that's very rare. That's why not all the bands make it big. That's why only Taylor Swift or only such and such makes it big, because whoever made them big actually really believed in them, and they were good managers, good producers that believed in them 100%. And even if they lost money, look at Celine Dion. Celine Dion, who ended up marrying her manager, the manager sold his house. No, he took a big loan. I'm sorry, I'm going to take that back. He took a big loan from his house. His wife even ended up divorcing him because of that. Took a big loan and invested in Celine Dion hundreds of thousands of dollars because he really believed in her. And not only that, of course he was connected because he worked in the industry. He pushed her, he puts his money, he put everything he had in Celine Dion and made her who she is. You see what I'm saying? So again, I don't come from a rich family. God knows we came to America. I was 12 years old. We were on welfare, and my parents were working janitors and cleaning offices and restaurants, and I went with them. I got married young. I'm not coming from a rich family. And a lot of people are so misinformed. Of course, Liliac is big because, no. because the parents are rich. We're not rich. God knows. Honest to God. What we had was talent and work ethic. So
Passion.
for Liliac to be at where they are is because we worked very, 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 very hard. That's why. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't, and thank God I had the knowledge from my life experiences to learn how to record, to learn how to produce, to learn how to edit, because I was able to help the band put Enter Sandman together. And
All right, I gotta stop it for a second. I totally get what he's saying. I've never once thought that they were rich. You know what I mean? My thing was, and I've said this in just normal music reactions, guys. Um, those kids could have been out there, playing with their friends every weekend. Instead, they're out there at Santa Monica Pier, and as Papa L says, I mean, they're going to lessons. That really takes a really, I don't think a lot of people realize it, but it takes such a huge amount of dedication for a kid. Even we'll just go back to the beginning, a child to actually stick with that instrument and be dedicated, love it. Like I know my son has tried many instruments. He does have a bit of a musical ear, but he just doesn't stick with it. So in Liliac's case, yeah, you commend. All you can do is commend and respect Papa L, Mama L. Yeah, I mean they worked their butts off, and they paid for these lessons, and but yeah, how could you not respect that? It's just it's so insane that people would actually think that way. I see Liliac as one of the hardest working bands, and certainly Papa L as the hardest working, manager. It kind of goes like the record companies. Nobody ever really makes money from a record company. You know what I mean? It's like you always owe. You always owe money to the record company because you're doing studio time, all that. They just handle the promotion, and could they get Liliac bigger? Yes, probably they could. However, I agree with Papa L. If it's not the right person or the right time, or it's not somebody who's going to be super passionate, it's just not. It's just not worth the time. I have nothing but love and respect for Papa L. It still really tickles me that he took the time. Several months ago when I asked him questions and he did a little video. I mean, this man is dedicated to this band with everything he has, uh, or ever could be. And that is evident in this man. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. He's doing everything he can for this band. I personally believe he can bring Liliac to the next level. So I have total faith in him. You know what I mean? He's just such a cool guy too. And again, doing that cameo for me was a big thing because sometimes if you ask somebody to do, uh, an introduction for you, they'll like try to charge you their business price. I did that with Rob Lundquist from Home Free. I was just going to have him just do a short intro, and he kicked it over and said no, he wasn't going to do it. He would do it for the business price, which was $300 as opposed to 50. I was like, yeah, nope, sorry. So anyway, that Liliac cameo, super cool. And I probably could have asked Papa L to, if they would do it for me, and I'm sure they would have. But if you're going to support this band, then you need to actually support this band as much as you can. Even $1 Patreon helps them make videos. It helps them to get to where they need to go, and it allows them to do this. I'm only at the $10 Patreon level. Hopefully, it's my dream to be able to do the $200. Just even if it's just long enough to get that signed Sawtooth. I really want like a Floyd Rose, Sawtooth that's signed, up on the headstock. That would be super cool. But that's just a dream right now. But I'm just gonna do what I can here. Buy some merch when I can. Be a Patreon. I think it's super important to support them. So anyway, great points here.
and videotape it and edit it. I never went to school for video editing or for video filming. I never did. But guess what? I watched other videos and I was like, man, we can afford a production company to pay
I suck
five
at
to
that
ten
stuff.
thousand dollars to do a video. We lived, all of us when my kids were little, we all lived in a 3 bedroom apartment, seven
Wow.
people. So what do we do? I bought a camera and I was like, man, I'm just gonna film this way and that way, and then I remember at the beginning I used to edit the videos. I used iMovie and then I got to Final Cut Pro, and I just edit based on what I thought it works with the music. So that's how we did. Wild Thing was our first. It was Liliac's
Oh, that's
first
so good.
rock video that started it all, and then from then on we did Enter Sandman. They didn't go viral. I think, man, it's not working. A year after, I said, how about we do Crazy Train on the pier? Because that's where the band was performing. I was like, we'll do it on the pier and we'll let everybody know here is Liliac. If you want to see them live, come to the pier. Because Enter Sandman did not go viral, and I thought that video should go viral. And then a month after we released Crazy Train on the Santa Monica, with the Santa
That's
Monica
so
Pier,
cool, Crazy Train.
Stuart Copeland from BBC contact us that he wants to put Liliac in his documentary called On Drums with Stuart Copeland. After we did that, then the world's best from CBS contact us. They saw the Crazy Train video on the pier and they want to have a family band on their show. They gave us, look, people say, what are you talking about? You're first family of rock. You're no first family of rock. There's the Osmonds, there's the Ozzy Osbournes, and there's this and Van Halen. I agree. I, but
I don't.
look, we signed that being on their show.
I don't agree with that at all. Um, the Osmonds aren't rock. To me personally, I think they are the first family of rock. It's a whole family, and that's not really super common. I mean, come on, Eddie and Alex Van Halen. Yeah, but you have tons of people you could compare that to. I really think they are the first family of rock, simply because there's nobody like them. There's been nobody like them, and there's nobody like them now. For me, I think Liliac's just in a place of their own. You know what I mean? So I really think they are the first family of rock. But I don't know, and I've heard about this TV show, so I gotta see what he has to say.
It's their show. We're just paid to perform. If they came out with that name, I had no right to go and tell them, hey, why you call us the family, first family of rock? Look, we had to go along. It's their show. So they're the ones that put the name Liliac, first family of rock. What do you want us to do? Sue them or what? It's their show. We signed. It's their production. We don't even have the footages. It's their show. So now people are saying, well, if Abigail is not playing, you're not the first family of rock. Look, get a life, man. Get a life. Like I said it before,
I love this guy.
Paul is filling in for Abigail and is a phenomenal drummer. Everybody pay attention to this kid. He's a young to be prodigy. 16-year-old. His timing is I can't say perfect because nobody's perfect. It's phenomenal. And he's playing like the record. He does a drum solo that and he's fun. My kids love him, and so hopefully he's gonna be drumming for Liliac as much as needed when Abigail is not playing. But with that said, fans needs to accept what and trust the band for all the decisions they're making. You cannot put the band down. No Abigail, no Liliac. You know that you can't do that. You don't know the story behind the whole thing. Probably Abigail has other priorities, and she needed time off. Leave it alone. You follow Liliac. You see what
Amen,
I'm
brother.
saying? Look, Liliac is a family band. Van Halen is a family band, and there's only two in the band that are brothers.
What that makes me think of, the cameo that I had done. I emailed Papa L and said I just put in a cameo. He was like, awesome. You know, we'll do a great one, which they did. But all I could think of, Papa L, was the wrong person getting that. They would have just complained. Where's Abigail? Where's Abigail? No, I'm not going to pay for this, because I just think, Abigail's married. She has other stuff going on in her life. And if she needs time to, do things in her own life, then, I respect that, and I love that about her. You know what I mean? Because she's going to take time to do things for the family that she's starting. And I love to see other people, performing with Liliac. Some people are so anal about that, right? Uh, Papa L, you got to remember, you're saying Van Halen. Look when David Lee Roth left the band, and then Sammy Hagar come in to do vocals, right? And suddenly it's Van Hagar, and people are so bitter. Or Leonard Skinner, he's got his brothers in there doing vocals, and people are so angry. That's not Leonard Skinner. Um, I agree. Accept the change. It's Liliac as a whole. You know, I mean, let's just say, you know, eventually, one of the kids gets married and has a child on the way, and they can't make this tour. Uh, you got to respect that. It's life. Liliac is. I don't know how you'll feel about this, Papa L, but I think Liliac is just a part of their life. It's not their whole life. You know what I mean? They've got to do their things too. So I love Abigail. I just love her to pieces. But she's got other priorities, and that's what I figure when I don't see Abigail in something. She's married. She's got other things going on. So if she needs some time off, I'm down with that. I'm going to support her, and I'm still going to support the band because that's just how I am. But I just love Papa L, man. I love, get a life, and that's what I feel like on this channel sometimes. I get Papa L. You wouldn't believe the rude comments I get all the time on different artists. It's just insane, and I'm just like, get a life. And I have one particular person for Aurora. I don't know if you know her. She's just such a great artist. But I have one person every time I do a reaction, they thumbs down it every single time. Get a life. So I totally feel you, brother.
Look at Hellstorm. Hellstorm used to play with her brother and her dad on the bass.
Yeah.
The father was like, probably he said, look, man, you guys are kids. You guys need a band your age. I'm out. What about the people say, well, you're not a family band anymore because why would you get rid of your dad? No, probably the dad just back off, was like, look, I'm out mold. I can't be there on stage. I could help you probably behind the scenes or whatever. So Hellstorm is still considered a family band because the drummer is the brother and she is the singer. So
Yeah,
what I'm
it's
trying to
sort
say
of.
with all this video, because time is running out and I don't want to go too far. And the question is Liliac famous? Well, Liliac is successful. Independently, they got to this success. Yes, it's very hard. It's super hard. God knows how many times I'm like exhausted because I have to work around the clock to make sure the production is there, make sure the mixing, make sure the recording, the songwriting, everything. And, even the band gets exhausted because not only that we have to record this, then they have to do the promo videos, then we have to do the TikTok content reels, then we have to edit videos, then we have to get ready for tour, we have to do everything ourselves. It's very, very, very hard. But signing with the record labels, there are pros and there are cons, and that's what we put them all on the list. And according to the band, not coming from me, they were like, Dad, there's more cons than pros. So that, like Melody said today in the meeting, said that I'm happy with where we're at. I said, yeah, but fans are saying that, you guys should sound. I said, I'm sorry. I don't have to listen to the fans. First of all, we get to do the music the way we want it. We get to wear the clothing that we want. We write our own songs. Why should we sign with the record labels? The next thing, they're going to say, well, we have our songwriters that wrote songs, hit songs, Grammy Award, blah, blah, blah. Next thing, you see that they're writing your songs and your singles, and you're not writing your songs anymore. Liliac doesn't want to do that. And people might say, yeah, but, well, you don't have hits. And first of all, hits, it's a big, big question. What makes a song a hit? I know bands that have hit songs. We have hit songs. But a record label spends so much money for that hit songs to get on the radio. I remember when I was working with this producer in LA and he was working with Pussycat Dolls. That was the pop stuff. He told me it cost $250,000 to keep a song 6 months in rotation on all the radio FM
Wow.
radio stations. That's $250,000. Who do you when record labels put $250,000 to promote a single or an album? Who do you think? What pocket do you think that's coming out of? The band's money. So when the band's getting more famous, has to pay back everything. It's a loan that the record label is giving you. And this was crazy because somebody contradicted his dad, Papa Liliac. You know, I get it. You're saying Melody doesn't want to have anything to do with Hollywood fame and stuff like that. But what about if she gets offered $1 million deal, $1 million contract? Then what is she gonna do? Don't you think she's gonna want that? That's the thing. If the record label says, "Hey, Melody, Liliac, here's $1 million. Is your money because you're just a great band. We love you. You deserve it." Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. See you later. No, when you hear $1 million deal contract, meaning you get $1 million loan that you have to pay back, and their interest is not like the Bank of America's interest. What is 7%, 8%? No, they put an interest. It's like those mobs from New York. If you don't pay them back, they're gonna come and break your knees. That's their interest. That's why bands are crying. I've been with the label for 5 years and we didn't make any money because all the money making, they're saying, well, you got to pay your expenses, goes back to the label. They said we made $0. Chevelle talked about it and wrote it in the newspaper. 30 Seconds to Mars documentary. Look it up on Netflix. He said after 5 years with the label, 3 albums, we're in debt over $1.5 million. That doesn't make any sense. And we toured the world in stadiums and arenas. You see what I'm saying? It's a loan. It's a loan. Are you willing to go through all that and get all that famous and not make any money just to be a big name? Or are you willing to have a life, have a successful, you're making money what you're doing, make your own music, and reach as many fans as you can on your own? That's the big question. What do you think Liliac should do? Should they sign with a record label, sell their soul, or should they
Never.
stay independent? Rock on and rock hard.
I love this guy so much. Yeah, Papa L, I'm going to go with they should probably just not sign any of that junk. And guys, that's what I was just touching on, too. It was literally, it's a loan. I've heard this story so many times from bands that made it huge, like Poison made it huge, right? However, guess what? Then it was always we owe the record company. That's why I said bands will make their money out on the road with merchandise and tours. Um, and the great thing today is all the social media out there. It allows Liliac to be able to do this and to be independent. And another band, I keep hearing these comparisons with The Warning. They're a family band, but they're the same way. They don't want to go to a major record deal because, Papa's right. The cons far outweigh the good. Yeah, maybe you are famous. Maybe you are playing a stadium show for 80,000 people. But, really, you really have no life. And you're tied to the company. You're married to the record company. You got to do what they say. I touched upon what Papa Liliac said. They're going to change the way you dress. And I guarantee you that what they're going to do is try to mainstream. They would try to mainstream Liliac into all that mainstream pop trash. And that's not who they are. And as long as they're successful, and they're making a living, right? I'm definitely going to say never sign because never sign with a record company. I mean, unless you have a stellar good deal. And like Papa says, someone who's really going to live and breathe, Liliac, because there's nobody better for the band than him. So I totally get what he's saying here. Papa L, just let that stuff go in one ear and out the other. Whatever. Who cares what they think? It really irks me to see that kind of stuff going on. And again, I put up with a lot on this channel, and believe me, I don't make any money on this channel hardly. I think I've been doing this over a year. I think I might have made $1,600 for I don't even know how many videos now. probably 3,500 videos, reactions at least. Most days, some days I'll make $1, in a day. But it's not about the money. If you look at the channel, it's about exploring new music, about promoting artists like Liliac. Before I was a reactor, I was doing guitar covers that people nobody had ever heard of. Just promoting them, like Eric Burgett. So anyway, this is a great, great video. I love to hear what Papa L has to say because I think it's super important because he's such an integral part of the Liliac machine. So anyway, Papa L, much love to you and to all of you in the band. I thank you so much for that rad, awesome intro. Anyway, loving the hat again. If you guys want one of these, grab it on the Liliac website. Super, super warm. That's why my wife stole it, so she'll probably steal it back. But all right, my friends, we'll talk to you soon. I got to do some more Liliac soon, so we'll see you then, guys. Take care.